I'm Lee from the Oshkosh Beer Blog.
I'm Adam from McKnight & Carlson Wines.
And this is Kevin Bowen, the brewmaster at Fox River Brewing Company in Oshkosh. And we're standing at the tap room at Fox River Brewing Company. Thanks for being here, Kevin.
Yeah, cheers, Kevin.
Thanks for coming down.
So the beer we're drinking today is Cluster Bomb Rye IPA.
Yep.
You want to tell us about this, Kevin?
Sure. Rye's not really an ingredient I've been using a lot, and I wanted to experiment a little more. We had done a rye beer with the homebrewers last year. That was really, I hadn't done much more else with rye, and it was the ingredients were speaking to me for this beer. I knew I wanted to try rye, and I wanted to pair it with a hop that didn't dominate it. And I was particularly fond of this crop years of cluster hop.
So is this all cluster?
All cluster.
Seriously?
Wow,
Yeah.
intense.
Huh.
What I really like about it, so I mean, I get from cluster, I always get kind of a floral, sort of earthy, aroma from it.
Yep.
And then I get that same sort of like earthy spiciness from rye.
Yep.
And together those
Yep.
things merge beautifully in
Yep.
this beer. And this is a 8% ABV IPA, so
Well hidden, I might add. I mean, it's not hot or over the top or anything like
no,
that.
not at all.
Yeah, you can feel the alcohol a little bit. The bittering's not over the top. Hopefully enough there to counter that 8% ABV.
Doesn't seem out of balance in any one particular category.
Good.
And the mouthfeel is really nice. It's that creaminess that I'm assuming is coming from the rye, but it has a really nice mouthfeel to it.
Yeah, we were really pleased with the way the rye came out in the final beer. Not too dominant. I think it was maybe 18% of the grain bill.
Oh, really? Well, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. But it needed to go up against an IPA hopping regimen. So I wanted the rye to come out in the flavor.
It does.
And it was really serendipitous that I was really particularly fond of the cluster hops that I was the 2014 crop year was pleasant. It wasn't as earthy. It had a brighter floral quality to it.
I like as we're drinking this, I'm starting to get almost like a blackberry kind of like a citric kind of blackberry. It's really nice. I like it a lot. So just we're here in the tap room, and we should say something about this. Used to be the field house, and now it's Fox River Brewing.
Used to be the lounge before that.
Used to be the lounge before that.
Right.
But in the beginning of July, you guys brought everything back to being all under the Fox River Brewing Company umbrella.
Right. So this place originally opened in '95 without this part of the property, as Fratello's and Fox River Brewing Company. So we're now 20 years later. This area that we're in right now opened in, I believe, 2000 as the lounge with cozy couches and stages for live bands, and shifted that to the sports theme and put in flat screen TVs and a menu that looked like wings and stuff
Sports
like
bar
sports
type.
bar type vibe. And then the owners definitely got the bug that really sports. We've got the brewery and they wanted to run with it, which is what we've been doing for pretty close to a year now. We're getting on 9-10 months of distribution.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that. So, like, you've been brewmaster here since 2009, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you ever been as busy as you are now? I mean, production-wise?
Neither of the breweries have been as busy as we are right now in the entire existence of the breweries.
Yeah.
We are breaking records every week.
Cool.
In fact, this last week, EAA was a huge record-breaking week for us. Unfortunately, it was one of those weeks where we were selling more than we could make. So we're in the trenches right now trying to dig out of that. But it was an amazing EAA week. We had great weather, good turnout here in town, and I think Distribution is doing what we hoped and wanted it to do, was bring some more attention back to the restaurant as well. Not only build the beer brand, but in so doing, shine the light back to, where is this stuff produced?
Yeah.
Which goes right into why the name changed.
Yeah, why the tap room?
Because we've been plugging at this, and we are operating now at our capacity. Like I said, this weeks we're selling more than we can make, and hope things balance out.
So where do you go if you're just barely keeping up with it? I mean, things are only going to continue to grow at this point.
Yeah. Which we're planning an expansion right now, right here in this room.
Right.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So one other thing I've noticed, recently it seems like you're putting on some more robust beers. Is that just a coincidence, or is that?
No, I've always tried to have a diverse lineup where we know we're serving. It used to be 8 beers. We pushed it up to 9, and I'm struggling to do the 9 different varieties. But within that structure of having 8 or 9 different beers, I want them to be different.
Yeah.
I really don't want 2 beers to really compete too hard.
That's what I see when I get your tap list by email, and I'm always impressed by the really distinct variety and unusual ingredients. I mean, that's big. You have to set yourself apart in this market now.
It's grown that way since when I first started. It wasn't that way.
Yeah.
In fact, I was looking back recently at some of the things that were happening when I first got into brewing, and we literally, when I first started, Steve Lonsway was the brewmaster for Fox River Brewing Company. We had 5 different varieties of hops. And probably the most exotic were Cascade and Willamette. Otherwise, it was Czech Saaz, and Northern Brewer. I think maybe there was some Centennial as well, but that was like the entire portfolio of hops. And they did some fruit beers, but no real exotic ingredients. But the market has pushed that direction. Yeah. That with this whole craft boom, part of it is it being paired with the culinary mindset. And a lot of the startups are chefs. That are taking their knowledge
there's
from
so many crossovers. It makes sense.
So that's when you start to see putting unusual ingredients in on occasion. I'm still a little bit of a traditionalist at heart. My bug and passion started with great German beer. A trip to Germany.
Nothing wrong with that.
Traditional lager beer that just tastes exquisite. But I do love doing. I'm a huge coffee drinker. In fact, when I got into brewing beer, I was brewing coffee. So my palate is like geared towards really awesome coffee. So I love brewing my coffee stout. Yeah. Maybe a little bit of a different ingredient. And nowadays, not really. Everybody does a coffee stout. But you take that mindset and incorporating beer flavors into beer. I think this one's touching on it. Where you don't think Cluster as an IPA hop, but it really was pleasant.
I think it's very good. I'm having the same experience now that I had this on Sunday for the first time. And about halfway through the glass, I was like, I'm not getting it. And then all of a sudden it starts clicking, I really like this beer a lot. Is this dry hop?
Yes.
Because, I mean, the aroma is really starts
you do get that floral and spicy aroma, which is nice. And
really unique beer.
Yeah, all right. That dark berry note that you talked about, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I always get that. It's like, I don't know if it's blackberry. It's like a dark, it's more intense than blueberry.
Elderberry. There's a whole bunch of different berries that, like, they become a melange of like notes that you try to pinpoint.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
struggle to a certain extent.
And you'll have this on tap here for probably the next couple of weeks at least, huh?
Oh my gosh, it might not even last that long.
Oh, really? So get it while you can.
I don't know if you caught the previous one, the Lake Coast West. That was like 2 weeks.
Really?
It took 2 weeks to make, and it's gone in 2 weeks. So that's
So-
literally, we're operating at capacity at this moment.
In the tap room here, are the IPAs turning out to be the beers that move through quicker?
I'm not sure what flows in this room. I'm maybe the wrong guy. I probably shouldn't talk about this on video, but I'm not
Too late.
I'm not the
Well, you'd-
guy to,
you'd have to think, I mean,
distinguish between the different rooms.
Okay.
Like, I know what's in the tank at the start of the week and what's not in the tank at the end of the week. It's a kind of a gross volume. I do hear things here and there about clients that come into one room versus the other, but I don't know the breakup. I'd say when this was the field house, if I walked down here, it was usually a lot of Blueberry fans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have one quick question. What's in the? I see there's cooperage along the window over there. Is that
Yeah.
is that full?
Yep, those wooden barrels are local barrels from Trout Springs Winery.
Okay.
And where's Trout Springs? I'm not familiar with them.
There's south of Green Bay,
Okay.
east of Appleton, in the middle of farming land.
Sure.
Where they have 7 acres of grapes. So a lot of their varieties are estate-grown grapes. They do bring in some other grapes for other varieties, but these particular barrels were 7-year port barrels,
Wow.
which we filled once with specialty big beer. We haven't released that yet. They're currently refilled with a second fill. That they were fresh. They were fresh as fresh can be. So it was my first use of local barrels. I used barrels from California.
Sure.
But this was tapping into the backyard. So I literally pulled up on his doorstep as he had emptied like 2 of the four barrels that we got. And he was starting to empty the 3rd. And I hung out there and we threw them on the van. And the next day I put beer in them.
So, do you anticipate a date of releasing any of those beers?
I don't have a date for it yet.
Okay.
Well, I'd imagine that's pretty touch and go. You sample them as you go along, and
It is.
release it when it's ready.
Right. We have one. There's 3 down here, and there's one on display up in the restaurant that has a different beer. That's still first fill. up
Okay.
There.
Wow.
So.
Well, maybe when those come ready, we'll have to do this again.
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
All right. Well, Kevin, thanks a lot for
Yeah, Kevin,
taking the time
thank
to
you.
do this today.
Fantastic beer.
Prost.
Great.
Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.